Welcome to this week's Live, Local and Loud with me, Kevin Gaughan. On this week's show, Lee from Prime UK Band will be chatting to George, lead singer from hard-hitting hard rockers Rawkus Redz. He'll be chatting about his solo project. And as always, we'll have plenty of homegrown music by local bands. Kicking off today's show, we've got a brand new one for you from the awesome lads at Switchdown. Here's Wi-Fi. That was Switchdown and Wi-Fi. That was released about a month ago, and they've done an awesome little video to go with that on their YouTube channel. So check them out at Switchdown. Of course, we were chatting to them a couple of months ago here on Live, Local and Loud. If you'd like to hear that interview again, just check out musicinleicester.co.uk and all the Live, Local and Loud stuff will be there on the right-hand side. Now it's time for another new song. It's a new song from the debut album from Brand New Band that were formed during Leicester's lockdown of 2020. They're called Smoke Test, and here's a good job. That was a catchy little electronic instrumental track there from Brand New Band, Smoke Test. Good job. We've started today's show with a couple of brand new songs from pretty new bands. We're now going to play something from one of Leicester's more established bands. They're still churning out the classics. So here's Ferris and Photograph Hourglass.
Some old pictures of you. I was feeling blue. The tears that I cried,
That was Ferris and Photograph Hourglass. It's now time for this week's interview where Lee from Prime UK Band will be chatting to George from local hard-hitting rockers Rawkus Redz. George is, he's currently embarking on his solo project at the moment because of lockdown. So let's start with a song from his solo project. Here's Take My Hand.
Stand among the earth and sea, but we still compete for how much we should breathe. Homeless versus homeless in the streets, live within our means while suited men will cheat. Nothing changes, certainly not overnight. Only if we dig the tunnel will we ever see the light. Lying round the corner is another world in waiting. No friends or foes or love or hating. Lying round the corner, all we have to do is take it. Just take my hand and we can make it. We can make it. We can make it. We've read so much about the schemers taking what's not theirs, but your man in power takes your bread to pay for what he wears. In or out the union, they said people will decide, but the only thing achieved was a disastrous divide. It's time for us to recognize a sinking ship, and together we can patch her up and steer with better grip. Lying round the corner is another world in waiting. No friends or foes or love or hating. Lying round the corner, all we
We are live, local and loud. I'm Lee here from Prime UK Band, and I'm here today with George Stackhouse. We just played his track, Take My Hand. How are you today, good sir?
I'm very good, thank you, Lee.
That's good to hear. And you're here today to discuss your band, Rawkus Redz, as well. First off, though, I'll ask you how the response has been to your solo material so far.
It's been pretty good. It's been I've had a few issues with the with the release, actually. I mean, it's whenever you're setting up as a new artist on, because I've never released anything before. I've written so much stuff, but but the only thing I've ever actually released has been with the band. So I've had a few issues with sort of setting up my Spotify profile and just sort of things going back and forth with the distributor. But apart from those little things, it's been very, very positive.
So it's been a while since you set up your old bands, because your band's been together since like late 2015, and it's been a while since you probably set up all that stuff.
Yeah, so we've sort of been setting that up on the go sort of thing, because we didn't actually release anything until 2017, and we've been kind of learning on the go with it, as you do.
Yeah.
You know, there are guides you can follow and things you can read about, about stuff like that. But really, the only way you learn is by doing it. That's the best way to learn. We've made a few errors. We've had a lot of successes, so I'm kind of doing that all over again, but with my solo material. Except I'm going in with a bit more knowledge now. So it's.
I get that. It's so easy to make mistakes, and things change so often, like with online distribution and things like that. I had a friend of mine actually from a band, I'll give a shout out to him, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, is in a band from Nottinghamshire called Junction 25. And he, I don't think he checked with his distribution online, and they'd wiped all his back catalogue off Spotify and things like that.
Oh, so
dear. Any new musicians listening in, always double check, and don't be afraid to...
Always check your emails. Emails are something that it's one of those things. Nobody ever checks their emails, but afterwards, after something catastrophic like that happens, that everyone you really wish you had. A friend of mine who's in a band called Reaper from Liverpool recently had a similar problem. They were supposed to be releasing a single off of their latest EP. It was supposed to be out in early January, and it's only just been uploaded through the distributor to Spotify and all the platforms. It's that was quite trying, shall we say?
Yeah, I think if you talk to anybody in music or any decent management or
but then again,
you'll kind of realise that give yourself a good 6 weeks before setting anything up, and just give it a bit of time. Plan your video premieres online and things like that well in advance, stuff like that.
But then again, it's also important, obviously it's important to stick to your deadlines, but at the same time, it's important not to rush as well. If they really, really want, I've found this with anything that I've released, anything that I'm producing, anything that I'm involved with, is people will wait for a good product. And if things are delayed slightly, just keep your fan base up to date, and just because people will wait for your product if it's good enough, sort of thing.
Well, it didn't hurt Guns N' Roses back in the day, did it? When they had to wait about 10-15 years for a new album. Kept the anticipation going. Shame the album was crap when it came out, but I'm going to play one of your band tracks now from Rawkus Redz, and this one's called Walk Away, and we'll talk about your past gigs for Rawkus Redz in a minute.
Waiting in the dark, stalking from behind. We knew something was wrong, but no one turned their head. I said I'd watch your back, but I couldn't stop this guy. Couldn't stop this guy. I couldn't stop this guy. Ship is sailing in the dark. You are the lighthouse from afar, keeping me from drowning, drowning. Every feud and every bite, each time we don't see eye to eye. It's so pathetic now to think we'd ever fight. I won't leave, won't leave, won't leave and walk away. I won't say goodbye until I say what I gotta say. I won't leave, won't leave, won't leave and walk away. All the words I wanna say, I know we got is one more day. Darkness as you fall towards the ground, collapsing in my arms upon the kitchen floor. You told me that you love me, but I must move on. But I will wait here. I won't leave, won't leave, won't leave and walk away. I won't say goodbye until I say what I gotta say. I won't leave, won't leave, won't leave and walk away. All the words I wanna say, and I'll be with you all the way. Ship is sailing in the dark. You are the lighthouse from afar, keeping me from drowning, drowning. Every feud and every bite, each time we don't see eye to eye. It's so pathetic now to think we'd ever fight. Waiting in the dark, ashes bound to fall. Keep moving on, gotta keep moving on, gotta keep moving on, baby. Keep moving on, gotta keep moving on, baby. Keep moving on, gotta keep moving on, baby. Keep moving on, gotta keep moving on. I won't leave, won't leave, won't leave and walk away. I'm never gonna say goodbye. I won't leave, won't leave, won't leave and walk away. I won't say goodbye until I say what I gotta say. I won't leave, won't leave, won't leave and walk away. All the words I wanna say, I know we got is one more day. Do I leave and walk away?
We are live, local and loud. That was Walk Away by my guest, George Stackhouse's band, Rawkus Redz. So you did, you had some quite important things that you were involved in towards the end of 2020. You got involved with the NAACP fundraisers. Do you want to tell me a bit more about what that's all about?
Yeah, the NAACP fundraiser. What we did was because there was all sorts of stuff going on in 2020. A lot happened, even though the whole world was shut down. Everything was kind of amplified tenfold, and one of those things that occurred was the shooting of not just that, it was the death of George Floyd, and then I think it was not long after there was countless others, but the two most notable, the two that are sticking to in my mind are the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And there was all the Black Lives Matter movement. There is some, people have their, opinions on it. But we wanted to do something that wasn't just setting our profile pictures to black on social media. We wanted to do something. We wanted to go further. So what we did was, because we'd rediscovered this Dead Kennedys track that I cannot say on the air, the title, because it's not safe for work. But there's a track that we really, really liked, and we thought, why don't we do a cover of it? And we were also introduced to this charity called the NAACP, which is it's a charity that's dedicated to the stamping out of racial prejudice. Aims to help people with their voting rights cases, people of colour with their voting rights cases. And so we decided to set up a fundraiser on our website along with the release of our cover of this Dead Kennedys song. So it's still up now, actually. It was right at the end of 2020 that we did this. It was the 31st of December 2020. And it was kind of with a view to basically sort of sticking two fingers up to 2020 for the absolute disappointment that it was. But so what you do with this particular fundraiser is, if you donate it's as much or as little as you want. If you go to the fundraiser on our website, you can, if you donate, you will then be able to download Nazi Punk. I'm not going to say the so hard, so very, very hard, because I say this on stream all the time, but it's like I can't say it now. So if you will be able to get the cover from our website after you've donated. So you'll receive a confirmation email, because you'll be putting your email in as part of the form that you fill out, and you will get a download link. Your website's Rawkus Redz. That's with a Z. .co.uk, isn't it, as well? Rawkus Redz with the Z.co.uk. So the Z is on the, so it's RAWKUS Redz with the Z.co.uk/donations/NAACP. You'll get straight to the fundraiser. If you're under 18, you probably shouldn't download it, because it does contain a swear. But to me, if you're offended by swearing, that's that's okay. I mean, many people are, but for me, I am more offended by racism than I am about swearing. So that's kind of how I'm justifying it, really.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think in movies, I think a 15 certificate gives you a few F words and things like that. So I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you're over 16, you'll be all right, won't you?
Best to ask your parents before you.
Play a track of yours now called Fat Cats, which I think sums up the political theme quite well. Also on that front.
Yes.
Another day, another wayward Jenny. For the lion's den. 10 hands in the biscuit barrel. 1,000 hands lose out. Should there be any left, the fingers will come out to point the blame. Another day, another wayward penny. Lions of the thieves are plenty in this cabaret. You can say what you want to, you can leave your friends behind. Dirty hands and dirty cards with numbers on your mind. You can do what you want to, you consider yourself a king. Spitting on those beneath you while you're never gonna feel the sting. Fat cats, give it to the fat cats. So to be poor is to be poor, and to ensure their survival. Fat cats, give it to the fat cats. Another day, another wayward penny. For the lion's den.
We are live, local and loud. I'm Lee here from Prime UK Band with my guest George Stackhouse today, and that was his track Fat Cats with his band Rawkus Redz. You got some events coming up next year, this year I should say. Touch wood, they all go ahead. Can you tell me a bit more about those, where they're going to be?
So we've got a few dates coming up. I mean, we are battling a certain elephant in the room at the moment, but we are really, really hoping that these are going to be going ahead. One of them is an event called it's Rage Against Cancer, which is takes place 30th, 31st, and the 30th and the 31st of July and the 1st of August. So that's the last weekend of July. Going into August, they are taking place at various venues across. There's two in Leicester and one in Manchester.
Yeah, one in Colville itself as well for any listeners as well. Let me say.
There's one in Colville, which is there's two in Colville actually. One is Savfest. That's on the. It's actually on the same weekend as Rage Against Cancer, but we're playing on the Friday. There's the band. The band are playing on the Friday for Savfest, which is at the Victoria Bikers Pub in Colville, and we've also got the Dark of My Horizon are they're a band from Hampshire who are doing they're hosting a weekender on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd of August. That is also at the Vic Bikers Pub as well.
Fantastic. Vic seems to be putting on some very nice events, and we just hope that. I think they managed to do some things before the last lockdown came as well.
Well, yeah, they're in a very fortunate situation in that they've got the outdoor space. That sort of thing. That's what we're trying to maximise on at the moment, because live music is virtually impossible at the moment. And not to put like any doom and gloom on anything, but it's just being realistic. There's very little chance of live music coming back as we know it in the next, I think at least in the next 2 years. It's just because because we are where we are at the moment. Having said that, there's lots and lots of bands that did a lot of interesting stuff in outdoor spaces last year. There is a group called it's Martin Turner's Wishbone Ash. They did a gig over in Suffolk, or was it? It may have been Suffolk. I can't remember exactly, but they did they basically did a silent disco sort of thing where they gave everyone a pair of headphones. Everyone sat in their bubbles, and they performed. They performed on headphones. They performed a monitor mix, and there's also the things with like the drive-in gigs as well, which is quite a funny thing because obviously with driving gigs you're kind of thinking of America, driving up in your convertible in the sun and to a gig, whereas in England it's just raining all the time, so you'll be turning up in your Mondeo or something to a
Gary Newman got a bit of criticism for the prices of his drive-in gigs. I think he was one of the first established names to try it, and they were like having a go at him for being slightly overpriced or whatever. I mean, it's like, come on, the guy's giving us some live music at least,
I don't know too much about that, to be fair. I guess especially, I mean, there is a balance. You do have to charge enough to cover your expenses and pay all your staff and stuff, but there is an element of you have to take in consideration there is a global pandemic. We're in the worst recession since 2008, I think it was, at the moment, and there is a certain, you have to kind of there is a bit of consideration to be taken with regards to ticket prices. Again, I don't know much about that, so I'm not gonna go on. But yeah, I think that's all I'd say.
Yeah, but you've also got to remember as well that somebody like Gary Newman probably only tours like once every 3 years or whatever. So when he tours, he's got to maximise the profit he makes to feed himself. As awful as it sounds, it's nothing's so straightforward as it at the moment. But
no, it is. It's never as simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Touch wood, the balance is right, and we get at least some entertainment in some form. But it's great that you're doing the streams as well as you getting set up again with the live situation. So I do wish you the very best of luck with your streaming. And if anybody wants to check out George's solo material in more detail, you can check it out at George Stackhouse Music. That's all one word on Facebook, and it's got underscores between each word on Instagram. So thanks for coming today, George.
Yes. Keep your. I'll just say this before we end. Keep your eyes peeled on all the platforms. There aren't any definite release dates yet, but we are aiming to, and I am as well. My solo material and the band material, we're aiming to get something out in the next few months. As I say, no definite release dates yet, but at least by the springtime we should have something out. So just watch this space, because we've got loads coming your way. So yeah.
Don't do a Guns N' Roses and make it 10 years before you release something else.
No, we don't have. I haven't got the pants for to be Axl Rose. So yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on today, mate, and you have a lovely evening.
Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.
That was Lee from Prime UK Band chatting to George from local hard-hitting rocksters Rawkus Redz about his solo project, amongst other things. Of course, George was actually one of the last gigs that I went to see last year, 2020. I went to a socially distanced gig at the Victoria Bikers pub just up the road here in Colville. And it was great. He had his band compressed onto CD, and he was at the front there with his guitar. Quite impressive stuff. Clearly got oodles of talent. So yeah, looking forward to hearing more from George. In the meantime, let's have a little bit of Oceans Apart, one of their later singles featuring Ro Jordan. Oceans Apart and Ro Jordan we've both had on the show separately last year. If you'd like to hear that interview, check out musicandlesser.co.uk, and everything to do with live, local and loud will be there on the right hand side. Meanwhile, here's Oceans Apart featuring Ro Jordan and Breathe.
Trying to tell you, but I don't know how to tell you. Maybe I just need to breathe. Can't you just open up and say the words you want to me? Come bring your world up onto me. I don't know how to begin, even if I wanted to. Words they creep into my chest just like they wanted to. These days get darker. It's harder to get through to you. Well, baby, I just need to breathe. I could give you space, swallow my words and pride, bottle up reasons to stay. I guess I'm just the loving kind. Oh, baby, I just need to breathe. Breathe. So tell me where we're at. Oh, oh. I don't wanna lose you. No, I love the way you lie, and I see it in your eyes. Give me space, I'll give you time. Oh, 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 baby, I just need to
That was Oceans Apart featuring Ro Jordan and Breathe. Now we're going to play a little number from Radio 1's Ones to Watch in 2021. Here's Jules and Spineless.
I left my nerve on the washing line, and I've got no spine, no
That was Jules and Spineless. They had a fantastic year in 2020 under new management, plenty of radio play on BBC Radio 1 and Planet Rock, and now here on Hermitage FM. So look forward to hearing for lots more from them in 2021. That brings us to the end of another Live, Local and Loud with me, Kevin Gaughan. I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget, if you'd like to find out anything else to do with local music, just check out musicinleicester.co.uk. You'll find gig reviews, record reviews, because they're producing a lot of new music at the moment, so there's a lot of single reviews. You can also donate to any of the local venues. It's all on musicinleicester.co.uk. That'll help them weather the lockdown, the quiet lockdown period. If you'd like to hear any previous Live, Local and Louds, they're all there on musicinleicester.co.uk, as well as a handy little gig diary which is full of cancelled gigs at the moment, although there are some live stream events that are in it as well. So do have a great week, stay away from that nasty virus, and I'll see you Thursday 5 o'clock here on Hermitage FM.